Guys, I wanted to share some information about this coronavirus that's going around and gotten everybody so amped up and hyped up, and if it's actually, truly something that we should be worried about. And I think the answer is yes. It's something that we most definitely need to be concerned about. If we look at past plagues that have hit this planet, like the 1918 Spanish influenza, which killed 50 million people and infected a third of the population of the entire planet. You're talking something like 500 million people infected, and had a mortality rate of 2.5%. So you're looking at 50 million deaths. If this coronavirus ends up being something along those lines, you're looking at 125, 150 million deaths and fatalities, and roughly 2.5 billion people infected, if we went by the same numbers as the Spanish influenza. So, it is something to be concerned about. And, people talk about masks, wearing masks to protect yourself. Those loose fitting masks that you see at the hospital and stuff won't do nothing to help you. If you're going to wear a mask, you got to wear an N95 mask. They're very tight fitting. You got to make sure they're tight fitting, because this virus is deadly and it's so easily transmitted. We're not even 100% sure of how it is transmitted. We know that it can be transmitted through surface, touch, airborne, or maybe all of the above. So to take precautions isn't necessary. I also say that because the incubation period in this virus is anywhere from 1 to 14 days, and we're starting to find cases now. This is the third case in London, confirmed case. So you've had these 3 people walking around up to 14 days spreading this virus without them knowing. You're going to find out in the next 2 to 3 weeks that the cases are going to jump from into the tens, into the hundreds easily. And if we get into the thousands, then we're looking at a global pandemic. And I say that if we're looking into that, and that is a likely scenario, then there's precautions that we must take. We must take, going out as least as possible, bringing Dettol, they say, will kill the coronavirus, which is weird because that's written right on their bottle, and that it'll kill that virus. Which, I'm not going to get into conspiracy theories here of how or why they knew that, but it is printed right on the bottle. So bringing hand sanitizers, wearing N95 masks when you go out, or just making sure you go out as least as possible. What I'm going to do for my family is that if we get into the thousands of confirmed cases, my kids will no longer go to school. We will sit down, make sure that we have enough food, that we don't have to go out, and we will just, limit our contact with other people to as least as possible. And I think that's probably the most safest measure. If it gets to somewhere of that point, that's about the only thing you can do, is limit your contact, because the incubation period is so long. Like I said, up to 14 days. So, one person could be, think of it, how many people are you in contact a day with? How many surfaces do you touch? One infected person could, sneeze or sweat or touch, something, a handrail on an escalator at the mall or something. And how many people touch that? And you can get 1,000 people infected, so easily and so quickly. And this virus is so easily transmitted, it seems like, that, we could be staring at a problem. And, they've been saying for, the last 15, 20 years, and I know people scaremonger and, say all sorts of crazy crap, but these things will happen. We will get a global pandemic virus that will come. It will do these things, a long enough timeline, anything is possible. And that being said, anything is possible. Always prepare for those scenarios, so that if something does happen, you can be best prepared for it. You know, the Red Cross here in Canada has said that every Canadian household needs 3 months of food at hand at all times, just for this. You know, if this goes to a pandemic and, you know, like the Spanish influenza, 1/3 of the population is infected and the 2.5% mortality rate. What if this has something like a 5% or a 3%? You know, or what if it went crazy and had like a 10% mortality rate? You're talking, then you go from 2.5 billion people to, you know, like somewhere around 4 billion people. You know, you're talking, you know, crazy numbers, you know, like just astronomical numbers, you know what I mean, of people infected. And then, you know, you got a mortality rate of 10%. You know, you're talking, now you're not talking 100 million deaths, you're talking 300 million deaths. You're talking the population of Canada, you know what I mean, in the United States gone. You know, you're talking like, it would affect everybody. So I say, you know, be prepared, and in being prepared, be smart about your choices. If you're going to travel, you know, and I know people, March break's coming up, and I know people are planning to go out and travel, and people want to go on vacations. If you're going to go through an airport, don't touch anything. Bring hand sanitizers, wear an N95 mask, and that's not even 100% guaranteed, but you make sure that thing is fitted tightly. You know, people that work in the plants or in the hospitals will tell you how tight those things got to fit, or firefighters, how tight those masks got to fit, so that you don't get germs coming up and around and through the cracks and the corners where it's not properly sealed. You know, so it's just being prepared, guys. I know I said I made a video about putting food stores. It's just been weighing on me so heavily the last 2 months. I mean, about getting stuff prepared and telling you guys to get food stuff prepared. And I don't know why. I mean, I just felt this urge to, you know, prepare for my family and to tell you guys to prepare for you guys too. But it's just weighed on me so heavily. And then this happens, and, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know what the future holds. And anybody who says they do, they're full of shit. But it's always better to have than not have. And to have 3 months of food when, you know, there's something crazy going on outside, to lock your doors and shut your windows and just hunker down inside until, you know, this shit blows over, may save you and your family's lives. So be prepared, guys. And, you know, stay smart and stay safe. God bless.